Welcome back to the Ango Podcast with Brian, Bill, and Mike. Today's Top 10 Tuesday is Top 10 Modern Fantasy Book Series. And go. Clarify, this is not just books that were written in the modern times. This is fantasy series that are set in the modern day. So that kind of counts out a lot of like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones kind of stuff because Brian wanted to keep it stuff in the things set in the modern day. So the one that's most popular, jumps to mind right away, of course, is Harry Potter.
Sure. I mean, I have a very limited exposure to the books. I think I started to read Sorcerer's Stone and just wasn't into it. I don't know what it was, honestly, but just didn't really grab me.
Did you read them later, or?
No, I was in middle school. I think when they came out. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say the first couple, I read them, as an adult, and it was hard to get through the first couple just because they were written for kids, preteens.
That makes sense. Yeah. Twilight.
But I enjoyed them. Yeah, Twilight.
It counts. I saw a funny meme about vampires where, like, once they realize that the moon is bright because it's reflecting the sun, and they dematerialize.
Just burn up right there.
Yeah.
Well, since you
Like
brought
cartoon.
up one trash vampire series, let me bring up the other ones that aren't trash vampire series. There's both Anita Blake and the Stooky Stackhouse series, better known as True Blood. Both really popular modern fantasies that really were more romance than that.
Suck.
Stooky Stackhouse. As Mike was saying, she really should have been stacked, but she wasn't.
I liked your brother and the gay bartender.
Oh, there's one from one of our favorite authors, Orson Scott Card.
Yeah.
The Lost Gate.
How was that? I just started it.
Actually, I liked it. There was 3 books, and it does a pretty good job of tying in like old magic and Norse mythology and stuff like that, but in that modern era. So it's interesting to read. So, and it's got the word gate.
Always good.
If the gate is down is your favorite saying from Ender's Game,
It's the best saying.
then you're in luck. The Lost Gate, back now with 90% more gate.
Yes.
I know I've been watching The Warrior Nun on Netflix, and I know that was based off of a graphic novel.
I want to read that now. The Warrior Nun. Holy shit. It's like
you
the
haven't seen
female.
it on-
Okay.
No.
Does that fit
really?
into fantasy? Well, I think I saw previews for it. Does sound rather mythical.
It's like Wolfwood's Wet Dream.
Angels, demons, nuns,
All-
battling with...
All in
I
the
don't know.
modern era,
That's
or at
fantasy.
least modernish era.
Yeah, no, it's modern era.
Steampunk does not count for this. I don't care if you have magic and steampunk. That does not count for this list.
Oh, I do have
right.
one for real, though. Brian, you'll like this. Late entry. Supernatural.
Okay, they do have a comic book series.
That's what I'm saying. I had to Google it to make sure. And
I
they
feel
did.
like everything has a comic book series now.
Yeah, we're cheating a little with that. I wanted to bring up The Walking Dead, but I don't think it counts. Do you guys
Why?
think it
Is
counts?
that fantasy?
See, that's the problem. I thought about it, and I'm like, you can do zombies in modern fantasy, but I don't think it fits.
Yeah, I don't see that as being fantasy. That's just, I don't know. That's its own like monster genre, or
Yeah,
even zombies kind of its own thing now. Post-apocalyptic stuff.
especially most
I'd
of
put it
its
more in that
scientific explanations for all the zombies nowadays instead of the Night
And
of
let
the
me
Living
just
Dead.
say, speaking of The Walking Dead, after COVID, I don't ever want to see another zombie movie, comic book, whatever, set in the U.S. because we know damn good and well that there'll be no fucking survivors in the U.S. You better put that shit in Europe or New Zealand or some crap because it's just not realistic anymore. Like, at all.
Well,
There's going to be like 2 people in a bunker somewhere that just sit down there eating MREs for like a year, and they'll be the only people alive, especially in the South, since The Walking Dead, I think they're originally in like Georgia or some shit, at least in the show.
well, it's the cities that really have the problem, okay? No
It's my
survivors in
freedom
the
to
city.
go out and get bit by a zombie, and I don't care.
Well, see, that's the other side of that coin, man. A lot of guns. A
Yeah.
lot of guns.
Yeah.
See, small rural towns I think would stand a chance, but cities, yeah, they might as well be nuked. Do a Raccoon City on their asses.
Especially if the
Spoilers.
shit is at all like airborne or waterborne or anything else. Like, you might have a point. I didn't initially think of that, but you have a point with the guns. But even still, I don't know. Because I feel like it would spread like crazy, just people packing into Walmarts and shit, and that would be it. You know, everybody be like, toilet paper! And they'd get bit by a bunch of fucking zombies trying to get toilet paper in Walmart, and that'd be the end of them.
Depends on the latency period.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Well, some of those are like bite zombie, like within seconds, but...
Well, those people would probably die in the zombie apocalypse anyways. The Darwin's crap. I mentioned American Gods. I hope you guys are somewhat familiar with that from the Showtime show. But I read the book. I didn't watch the show, but I read the book, and it was quite good. Neil Gaiman. Oh, okay.
Never read them.
I've heard it mentioned, but I'm not familiar.
You could also put his combination book, Good Omens, on there, but I haven't read it, so I'm not going to put it there.
What about his Dark Materials? Golden Compass, Subtle Knife.
Is that set in the modern world?
It is. It's kind of spoiler alert if you haven't read it or watched any of the stuff. The concept is multidimensional, and when they get to what is, I think, is strongly implied as our dimension, it's modern day.
Golden Compass?
Yeah.
Who is this?
The Golden Compass is the first book. I think the series has been labeled his Dark Materials.
And of course I have to put Dresden on. That's an obvious one. Recent book was pretty good. Really misleading title with peace talks, but it's a Dresden novel. Figure anything would be peaceful. That you don't know that series. Okay, Lock and Key. Another good reason to use graphic novels in this list.
It's also the Percy Jackson.
Yeah, I heard about that. There was also the recent adapted to Disney terribly, I hear, Artemis Fowl.
Artemis Fowl, yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
I hear it's horrible. Horrible.
I thought you said horrible.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't matter.
Give me all of them!
All the Artemis Fowl.
They are. Disney's getting a lot of flack for that adaptation.
You'll run afoul of me if you take my Artemis Fowl.
Good one.
Thank you.
You're a punny guy.
That's why I'm here.
Well, I don't know if I got lost in the weeds, but Preacher is a comic book series, and
Yeah, I like Preacher.
the same author actually did the original Boys. So look out for divisive, subversive, however you would say, superhero deconstruction of the superhero genre. But Preacher is definitely a decent series. I've seen some of the TV, and I've read like a few chapters. It gave a very Walking Dead vibe to it. Preacher, of course, I almost forgot Anne Rice. Who can forget about Interview with the Vampire? I actually read the book. I hated Brad Pitt's character, Luis, in the books. He was just such a whiny bitch.
It's the worst performance. Yeah, he was a whiny bitch in the movie, man. It's the worst performance Brad Pitt ever had.
He did the job well then. Brad Pitt did that. I believe that was Brad Pitt. Did that job. He was even worse in the books.
I like Tom Cruise a lot in that movie,
to
be honest.
Lestat was an awesome character. So it's like Queen of the Dam, Interview with a Vampire. There was at least another one that I read, which was weird. It was a time traveling, like angels sent Lestat or someone back in time or some. That one lost me. But yeah, I think that tapped out my list. We got quite a few.
Lock and Key? Did you mention Lock and Key?
Yep, Lock and Key. Oh, sorry, Odd Thomas as a last one. Dean Koontz.
Ah, I didn't know it was Dean Koontz.
When researching this, when just double checking my memory to see if there's any modern or urban fantasy, it's sometimes called, Odd Thomas came up. So did Frankenstein, but Frankenstein was rather bad in my opinion.
Late entry Blade?
Yeah, comic book. It'll work.
So you guys are obviously more familiar than me. What's your early number one seed?
Out of spite, I do not want to put Harry Potter as number one just because it's a chill.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, it's the obvious choice, but
It is the obvious choice.
I
I mean, beloved by millions around the world. I actually did enjoy it. I read all the books, watched all the movies.
see. I didn't enjoy it as much, so I can easily say not my number one pick.
It definitely needs to go in the top 3.
I agree. I'd say we put it as an early 3, just because I want something more mature. But
It would depend on what you're going to put in front of it.
well, definitely not Percy Jackson's, or I think we should take off some beforehand, if we
Okay.
can. I think Anne Rice probably should take number 1. Classic
With what?
with Interview with a Vampire, the Lestat series.
No, I don't think so.
Well, there's also
Not over Harry Potter or his Dark Materials. I just don't dig the whole like weird vampire romance stuff.
well, it's definitely hit before Harry Potter. That's the only thing I can think legitimately that can compare to Harry Potter.
Are we counting 50 Shades of Grey as fantasy?
No. That's a male power fantasy, maybe.
Written by a woman.
Doesn't matter. Still, it might have been for
Looks like it's my
masochistic women. Are you a masochistic woman, Mike?
You know I am, Brian.
Oh, I was just going to say. I thought you were going to
Thankfully, I
say,
steered
I'm
clear
not,
of
but
that
I play one on
garbage.
TV rather well.
Have you read it, Mike? Or seen
No.
the movie?
No, neither. But
Okay, me either. I was going to say, I had no interest in that.
that was a romance novel converted. So
Yeah.
that's...
Well, from the list I've saw, the only thing that can compare with Harry Potter is either the Dresden series or American Gods.
I mean, you guys would have to tell me about the Dresden thing. I haven't read any of them, so.
It's a big underground cult, a book
I
following.
kind of feel like even though it's cliche, even though it's popular, I kind of feel like Harry Potter deserves the 1 slot here.
Okay, I hate you, but I will put it at 1.
To be fair, I've never really had a taste for the books, but spoilers, I guess, for an old-ass movie. When Dobby died in the movie, I choked
yeah.
up, man.
I feel
I
like
choked
it
up
was
for
worse in
reals.
the books.
Really?
Oh God, yeah. You kind of read it and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Dobby was a free elf, man.
Plus, I made a point of reading the books before watching any of the movies.
Sure.
That's my kind of my go-to thing. If I'm going to read the books, I'll read them first before watching any of the films. In most cases.
Okay. As for the next, as I see it, we have Odd Thomas, Interview with a Vampire, Dresden, Lock and Key. Yeah, I would say those should be next. Maybe throw
I
Blade.
think his Dark Materials should be in the top 3. I mean,
What?
it's had a
Golden
movie,
Compass?
It's now got an HBO show that's really popular.
Okay.
I really enjoyed all 3 books.
Okay. I never got around to that series. I think it should be definitely not number 1 because it's spoilers, as you said. I did not know Golden Compass was a modern fantasy.
Yeah.
And that might actually fall under a different category, but we'll take your expertise on the series in account. So, American Gods, Golden Compass, Dresden, Anne Rice, Odd Thomas. I would say it's either between Anne Rice and Odd Thomas for number 2. One's older, one's fairly proficient.
I've never read Odd Thomas, so I have no idea anything about it.
Let's just put Anne Rice as number 2, just because of the historical factor. Has the most street cred, longevities, and this is probably the only list of modern fantasy where Anne Rice is going to even be mentioned.
So then Dark Materials at 3?
I say American Gods over that.
I think his Dark Material should be 3 if we're gonna put.
His Dark Material. That's what the series
Yeah,
is called.
so you could put Golden Compass. I mean that's the first book. That's the one everybody's kind of been introduced to.
But the series is called His Dark Material.
Yep.
Wow.
I think that's the name of the HBO series too, because they intend to do all 3 books.
Okay.
Because like the first season covered the Golden Compass, and presumably they'll do the other 2 books as the second and third season or whatever, however many they're going to stretch it to.
Okay, then I think after that, American Gods. A very proficient writer, but that doesn't matter. It had the Showtime series, which was had a pretty good success, and I liked the actual book. Dresden or Lock and Key next, personally. Mike, you know the hype of both of them. What would you say?
I don't know Lock and Key. I was going to ask if I'm assuming Lock and Key are people's names, based on the way you spelled it in the chat.
That's the name of the
LOCK.
family. Lock is the name,
Lock, yeah.
but Key is a separate thing.
Okay.
It's the Locks family's keys.
Right.
What's interesting about the Dresden Files is I remember my only exposure to the Dresden Files, other than, I think, Brian, one time we were crashing at Bill's house and we were playing the audiobooks. That, and in High Fidelity, John Cusack's character had to run home in middle school to go watch Dresden Files. So I know it's been around for a long time.
Okay.
I always think of that specifically when Dresden Files comes in.
Okay, it has a more storied history, so I will put that at 5. Lock and Key at 6.
That makes sense to me.
I think the Lost Gate I really enjoyed them, and we like Orson Scott Card stuff.
Yeah, I liked the 2 chapters that I got to before we got up. Maybe we'll talk about that on this podcast coming up as a dark horse.
Okay.
Let's put that at 7.
Okay.
We have the trash. So let me avoid the trash for now and the child. We already have pretty much a child's novel as number 1. So Percy Jackson and Animus Fowl. So, Blade, Odd Thomas, Preacher, Supernatural, Warrior Nun. Yeah, let's pick from those.
I feel like Supernatural's huge.
Yeah. I'll deduct a point from it, so why don't we put that at 9? We have a 7. Let's give something that has more origins in books or graphic novels a little bit more. So, Odd Thomas, Blade, or Preacher?
See, is Blade fantasy, or is that comic book hero kind of thing? I don't know. That's a
That's a
weird
good point.
Yeah.
It's kind of a in between genres.
I mean, yeah.
Genre bending, if you will.
It is vampires, but it is set in the... I forget, is that DC or Marvel?
Genre, yeah.
It's Marvel. Yeah, it's Marvel.
It's Marvel, yeah.
Okay.
Relegate it to honorable mention.
Okay. Honorable mention. Okay, Odd Thomas or Preacher would be what I would say in the 8 slot.
I liked Preacher.
I did, from what I saw. Billy has no frame of reference for either one.
I think I've seen one episode. It seemed all right. I remember watching... You talking about on AMC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed all right. I haven't read any of the comics or graphic novels, so...
Yeah, I've read a few chapters in a library once a while ago. So, for the numbers 10 spot, Odd Thomas, or should we go with the Child's or the one of the romance like Twilight? Twilight would probably take the cake with that one. That feels dirty. Or maybe just throw Warrior Nun, even though Bill's the only one who's seen it.
Yeah, I have no idea if the graphic novels are any good, but the show was halfway decent.
I would actually pit Odd Thomas versus either Artemis Fowls or Percy Jackson. Because I like Odd Thomas. I would like to see it represented. as number 10.
I like the name, Odd Thomas. It's a cool series
Could
name.
always honorable mention Warrior Nun for its current popularity.
Yep. And I guess we should honorable mention Twilight.
Should we?
Yeah.
I just threw it out
Yeah.
there because I don't know many modern fantasy.
It's fine.
Books.
It's fine. It covers the area of romance in the modern fantasy genre. Okay, let me just get through this list. Yeah, I feel dirty saying that, but out of all the romantic,
Sparkle.
it's probably actually
What was it? Team Who or Team Edward?
Who cares?
Jacob, right?
Team Jacob All Day, man. The wolf, yeah, the werewolf.
Yeah, I have no idea which one's which.
Okay.
Is he the werewolf and the other guy's the vampire?
It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
God.
Yeah.
They're interchangeable.
Both.
Oh, jeez.
Make my face sparkle with your cum.
What would happen if you got bit by a vampire and by a werewolf? Would
You'd
you
be the
become some
best.
sort of hybrid of
I
the
think
two, or
actually
what?
Underworld actually covered that. I think the main character was a hybrid. We didn't mention Underworld, but Mike brought that up earlier. I think that
Shout
had,
out.
I think that had something to
Beckinsale.
do with the war for the vampires. Oh, no, that's not modern. Sorry, I was thinking Vel Helsing, but there might be a modern adaptation of it, but the original one would be more worthwhile. Okay, everyone ready for this list? The BBM's official Top 10 Tuesdays modern/urban fantasy novels. Number 10, Odd Thomas. Dean Koontz' most relatable work. God rest.
Is he dead?
The actor. I keep wanting to say it's Scotty from the new Star Trek, but no.
Oh,
it was
Chekhov.
Chekhov. Number 9, Supernatural. It has comic books and it's cheating, sort of like how Sam and Dean cheat death all the time in the series. Damn, they're good.
That's
at
fantasy.
that. Number 8, Preacher. Some good old Wolfwood style violence.
Yeah.
Number 7, The Lost Gate, the Dark Horse entry. Since me and Bill are such fans of Orson Scott Card, and this fits the build, and from what Bill says and what I've read so far, it's rather good. Little juvenile maybe, but good. Number 6, personal favorite, Lock and Key. Joe Hill is better than his dad, Stephen King, and it shows in almost all of his work.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Shots fired.
words.
Those are strong words, especially coming from you, Brian.
Yeah, shocking.
Number 5, one of my favorite series, The Dresden Files. Harry Dresden is the coolest nerd on the planet, besides maybe Butters. Number 4, Neil Gaiman's seminal work, American Gods. Gods having political, stupid battles with the modern age. Sort of like Lost Gate. Number 3, not something I'm familiar with. I didn't even know this was modern fantasy until Bill said it. The Golden Compass series. Or, as Bill said, his Dark Material. Horrible name series, must say. Sounds like a bad fanfic. Number 2,
No.
a personal classic favorite of mine. Anne Rice Lestat series. Queen of the Dead or Interview with a Vampire. Take your book. Take your pick. The book was better. Fight me, bro. And now the honorable mentions. Twilight, because we had to mention one of these modern urban fantasies that was borderline romance.
Did we though?
Well. Warrior
done.
Team Jacob All Day! Sorry.
Warrior Nun, new on Netflix. Haven't actually read the graphic novel it's based on, but I hear the series is good.
Sponsors? Maybe you, Netflix.
My money. And because we couldn't decide if it's urban fantasy or superheroes, we went with Blade, because damn, Blade was awesome.
Daywalker.
And our number 1 pick of modern fantasy it should be obvious to anyone we cannot avoid the Harry Potter plague. I'm sure that's going to come up in our upcoming Friday podcast talking about Harry Potter, and Bill can fill us in on how his dark material actually is modern fantasy. I am curious to find out about that from him, and I will talk about the new Dresden novel if I can. So, Friday podcast. You guys prepared?
Brian's nerd hipster just died a little inside, I think, rating Harry Potter as number 1.
Yes.
Threw up a little.
Well, as we established, Mike is a little more hipster than me, but his picks are so obscure. No, Sorry, Mike, you are more hipster than me, but you're so hipster, you're a hipster's hipster, I think.
I am a hipster, actually. Alex and I have discussed that in detail. I'm owning it at this point. I was a little upset about it at first, but I'm owning it.
And I enjoy fun.
You're the only one who's not a hipster here. I'm a hipster. He's a hipster. You're just hip, Bill, I guess. Maybe.
Real quick, that JK had me rolling. Got him!
Okay, in this, I'm sure JK Rowling will come up on this Friday podcast.
Did she write Transformers? She hates Transformers. You know the controversy.
Oh, man.
You know the controversy.
Yes.
Oh, that's messed up.
Non-controversy, more like it. Only some people care about that.
I mean, some of the stuff she has said is...
some of it's okay, some of it's definitely over the line.
Shout out
on
to
that note, Mike, why don't you take us out?
Well, thanks for tuning in to this Top 10 Tuesday. You can catch us here every Tuesday and Friday for more content. Check us out this Friday where we'll be exploring more the modern fantasy genre. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell us how much your favorite modern fantasy series was ignored in the comments below. This has been BBM Productions. Thanks for tuning in and see you next time. Bye!